All right, guys. So today I've got a special guest for you. I know a lot of new agents are out there wanting to know how top producers do it and how to get started right off the bat, especially with your first couple of years of business. So I've got Rafael Fuentes here, and I just wanted to first off congratulate you, sir, on your first year and hitting $100,000 plus in GCI and your commission. So
Yes, man.
way to go, man. That's super awesome. Congratulations. Super pumped for you. I just wanted to chat with you today to ask you a couple of questions. This way, new agents joining the business can have a better idea of what to do to become a six-figure agent. So, first off, could you just tell us a little bit, about yourself and what you did prior to getting into real estate?
Yeah, so I studied dentistry in the Dominican Republic, and I came here to Houston 2020. Yeah. So I started working at a dental office, and then COVID happened, and obviously everything shut down. So pretty much stay in my home, and one of my friends told me like, "Hey, like real estate's still going on. Um, you got the charisma to do like this as a part-time job until everything goes back to normal." So I was like, "Heck, I'm used to studying." So I went study for like probably like a 3 weeks a month, pretty much every day, and took my license out, and then I joined Real November 1st, yeah, 2020.
That's that's fantastic. Yeah. But what did you do prior? Because I know you were in a completely different field, right? So
Yeah.
can you talk about what you did as far as a profession prior to real estate?
Yeah, so before real estate, obviously I work as I was assistant maxillofacial surgeon here in Houston, and prior to that, I went to med school, dental school, and prior to that, I used to work in a hospital in Puerto Rico as a patient care coordinator and a manager, graveyard shift manager in one of the biggest hospitals in Puerto Rico.
That's awesome, man. And I remember you telling me, off camera that you got to travel around the world to help people with dental work, right?
Yeah, so while I was studying in the Dominican Republic, I still am a member of Operation Smile. It's really big here in the States. Pretty much what they do is free dental assistance, free surgery, everything that has to do with head, mouth, and neck, um, in developing countries like the Dominican Republic, Colombia, Brazil. Like they pretty much travel all around the world, and I been doing it for last year. I couldn't go because of COVID, but I've been doing it for, I want to say, 5 years already. Yeah.
Man, so you've been in the people helping business for a long time, which definitely takes some of that, right, to get into this industry, and that's something that we do. So, what made you decide to get into real estate? I know you said COVID had a little bit of impact on that, right?
Yeah. So having time off, I can never be like not doing anything, right? So when COVID happened, I started reading, I started doing like different stuff, right? And I always said like I wanted to invest in real estate because I feel like this as a long time, like a long investment. It's where probably I want to retire, probably have a couple of rental properties, do flips, and then just retire. And whenever I just pass it on to my children. So I always had that in the back of my mind back even when I was in Puerto Rico. So when I met my friend here, I met this guy. He's a mortgage broker here in Houston. He was the one that told me like, hey, like if you get your real estate license, it will be like easier for you to have access to everything. You'll learn how everything works. So in a long term, having, because I feel like the dental license is not something difficult. I mean, sorry, real estate license, like getting your real estate license, if you really put the time to study, it's not something that is difficult to get. So I was just like, heck, like I have all this free time. I just may as well, because I really like, I've been like always looking like to stocks, real estate market, since back in the day when I was in Puerto Rico. So it was always on the back of my mind. And I guess COVID just pretty much told me like, hey, maybe like I can do this as a part-time, and then do dentistry as a full-time whenever everything comes back up. But once I started doing real estate, I saw the potential that it had, to grow a business of your own, and pretty much, I think I'm never going back to dentistry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like you just kind of took that leap of faith and just did it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So in the first year, especially for new agents, we seem to have a lot of hurdles that we have to deal with. Could you tell me some of the hurdles that you had to deal with on your first year?
Pretty much, I think the biggest barrier I felt coming into real estate as a new agent and pretty much as a new person here in Houston, because all my family is in Puerto Rico or Dallas. I pretty much, when I started real estate, I think I have like 10 friends maybe here in the whole Houston area. So the barrier that I felt, and I think it was just me putting that barrier in front of me, it was just afraid because I don't know as many people to do some business, right? Because everyone says, oh, reach out to your influence, to your friends, family. But I was just like, my family's in Dallas and Puerto Rico. Here I have like 10 friends. And out of those 10 friends, I think I have 2 real estate agents, 1 mortgage broker, his wife. So I was just like, I was really afraid of not being able to talk to at least somebody about real estate. But come to know, it was not. I didn't need a family or more friends just to do more business. So I think that was the biggest concern and like obstacle that I was putting in myself. Like my mentality, just thinking that that will be hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, especially with new agents, most people get their real estate license. They've been there for, maybe years, maybe a lifetime. So for you to be able to, have a fresh start with, an area you may not be 110% familiar with or have this big sphere of influence in your area, I can definitely see that being pretty tough. But you were able to overcome that. And it sounds like you did that maybe by just kind of changing your mindset. Is that kind of what I'm getting?
Yeah. So like whenever you're every real estate agent, new real estate agent, and even you that have been in the business for a long time, when you're studying for your real estate license and you get your real estate license, you start getting bombarded with like emails from brokers trying to recruit you. And the first 2 or 3 sentences, there was always leads. The word, I'm gonna give you leads. I'm gonna provide you with leads. And I actually, right after I got my real estate license, I met you and Franklin. So, and you were, I don't want to say blunt because that was not the word, but you gave me like the real picture of like what is to being a real estate agent. It's like, hey, like no broker is gonna give you leads. Yeah, they give you leads, maybe, but they're not gonna, you're not gonna go to an office, or a broker is not gonna send you like, hey, Rafael, this guy's pre-approved, go get him a house. And that's not gonna happen. So right there, my mentality changed a lot. Like, okay, I cannot go to a broker thinking that they're gonna give me leads, because that's not real. They maybe give you something, but leads, I think it's not the what a broker gives you, brokerage.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I totally agree with that. It sounds like, you've just made it a point in your mind that you're going to make this work and that you're going to go out and find the deals and you're going to do that. And that's something I always kind of, associate real estate with, especially being a real estate agent, is that kind of hunter mentality, right? I mean, we are the hunter, right? We may have, the I don't know, the Cabela's or the REI or the Academy or whatever sporting goods store you got that you go get your, your ammo and all your stuff from, and that may be your lenders or your title company or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're the ones putting in the work. We're the ones hunting. We're the ones finding those deals, and we're the ones trying to make it happen. So that's awesome, man, that you are able to do that. I feel like most agents have a really hard time with mentality off the get-go. And I have a feeling that most people feel lost, and most people feel like, or most agents feel like, they kind of get in a rut, especially getting started. So the fact that you're able to recognize that is pretty awesome, man. So I know, your
I wanted to
backstory
point
from.
out before we finish that topic, because
Sure.
this is something that I was gonna continue saying, like, and this is something that I also tell to every real estate agent, new or old, that because they think like, oh yeah, you came to this business with this mentality. No, like I was just tired. I used to wake up when COVID strike, I used to wake up at 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning, not doing exercise. I was sitting on the couch, binge watch the Tiger King, all that stuff that everyone did. And that mentality, I did have a mindset of studying because I came from a background of medicine. You always have to be studying in medicine, like you're pretty much investing 8 hours, 10 hours in studying, and then you're 12 hours in the hospital and you get to sleep 2 hours a day. So I did have the mentality of just studying. That's the mentality that I brought to real estate. I always kept that in my life, like studying. It has to be like I have to be studying something, I have to be reading, I have to be learning. But my mentality of like commitment and switching to that, like everything I have to do has to have a meaning in my business. I didn't get that on my own, and I think I talked to this about it, and you also recommend me a book when I was going through hard times. I first read this book. It's called as you can see it, Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willings. He's a ex-Navy SEALs. He pretty much trains Navy SEALs, and the book is just pretty much switching the mentality that discipline is everything in this business. And that is a mentality that I had to put and invest to learn that I need discipline. I need to wake up every day at 5 in the morning or 5:30, whatever time it is. And I have to invest the time, because if I'm not disciplined, nobody's going to be disciplined for me. So I think discipline is something in this business that everyone needs to be successful. And other than discipline, and you actually recommend me this book, is how to make, can I say the word?
Sure.
Shit?
Yeah.
How to make shit happen. You can just we'll post the links.
Yeah.
It's called How to Make Shit Happen. So this guy was a entrepreneur, had his business, and then his life went to shit, and then he switched his mentality to everything that he done, like he has to do every day, has to have a purpose. Like he goes by a core system that everything that I do has to have a purpose in this day. Either relationship, my business, growing as a person, everything that I do, I at least need to hit those 3 or 5 things. I need to every day invest in my business, invest time in my relationship, invest time in me. That will be like healthy eating, exercising, and everything. So definitely I know every real estate agent always tells them like, hey, go read Rich Dad Poor Dad, all those books that you can name, like everyone has read in real estate. It will help you out. But I think first, before learning about real estate, you have to set a mentality and a discipline that everyone has. Like if you see every big investors, this Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they don't wake up at 10 in the morning. They're not eating McDonald's. They're not, everything that they do every day, even being billionaires, I'm pretty sure that everything that they do in a day has to have a meaning. So yes, there's always time to like play video games, watch a movie, but I put that not as a priority. Everything that I do first has to have a meaning, either for me, my wife, my business, or growing as a person. So that switching that mentality, I think that's the key that made me successful this past year.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah, I mean, you look at, I think most people look at HGTV, right? I mean, we see all the stuff that's on TV and it looks this, fabulous lifestyle of, glitz and glamour and nice cars and nice clothes and all that stuff. But, little do they know, those people put in hard work and dedication to get to that point. Those are some of the top tier agents and top tier, whether it be construction, remodel, flippers, etc. Those people put in the effort and they put in the work, and they were militant with their time in order to get there. So, I'm not a huge HGTV. I got a lot of appreciation for that stuff, but I'm not, because you don't get to see the blood, the sweat, the tears, the work. You don't get to see all that stuff. So I kind of wish there was a show that just was about contracts and about, daily organization and all that stuff, because I would like that, because it's like, that's the real life stuff, right? So
yeah,
most
showing houses, it's the easiest part of our job. Like open a house, all you need is access to the MLS, and that's it. Like showing houses, finding houses, it's the easiest thing in real estate. It's just the blood and the sweat that we go every day.
But lately it's been tough with lack of inventory, right? But I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things besides just finding someone a property that we do. So, so I know you decided when you started, you were contemplating, going solo like most people do, or you contemplated joining a team. Now, I know you joined my team, but what made you decide to do that? I'm sure at some point you weighed the pros and the cons on that. Tell us a little bit about your decision on that.
Yeah, I think first the first reason I joined the team will be like you as a team leader and you as a person and my mentor in real estate. Um, I want to have like more access to you. I don't know, like to pick your brain more and actually to be able to have something to lay my back on, like not as a backup plan, but pretty much like if everything goes bad, I can call Jace at 9 p.m. and he's gonna answer my phone. And I know regardless, I'm your team or not, you will do it for any agent that joins Real. But I think having that support gave me more confidence to be successful because like I said, I was not lacking knowledge because you can learn contracts and all that. I think I was lacking a lot of confidence and support. And I got that from Real and from joining a team. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, starting out by yourself is tough, right? I mean, that's the same route I took. I did it for about a year by my solo self, and learned that this is a little bit more difficult than what everyone, makes it out to be. So I did the exact same thing. I joined a team, and they taught me a lot. Appreciate everything they've done, and I'll always be appreciative of that. But it's very nice to have a backup support system, So especially getting started because it's scary, especially completely jumping into a different career. I mean, a lot of people are already in the sales field, so it's not too much of a difference, but this is a people business. And when I mean people business, we're dealing with a lot of emotions, and it's nice to have that support, especially when stuff gets kind of, a little sideways. So obviously you did quite a few deals this year. You've, again, six-figure agent. So what was your average price point on your first year?
I want to say it was around, I have the numbers here. I think it's 274.
274. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, and just to give everybody a little bit of knowledge on what's going on here, I think I just saw the statistic for HAR. They just put it out for, and that's the Houston Association of Realtors. Rafael and myself were in the Houston area. So if you are an agent, you need any help, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm going to throw you out there too, Rafael. He's great answering questions and help and stuff like that. But I'm trying to find the statistic because December 2021, here it is right here. So in December 2021, the average price point from December 2020, so a full year, went up 11.4%. So the average price point in Houston is $399,946. So that's the average, right? Now, obviously, we've got multi-million-dollar homes. We've got, cheaper than that. But Rafael, so you're doing less than the quote unquote average for the city of Houston, but you're still making a six-figure income. So I mean, obviously there was a lot of effort that was put into that. But I mean, obviously, you were a dentist, right? I mean, you're a smart guy. But would you say that, this is something that most agents can accomplish pretty easily? Or do you feel like this was something that really, took just a ton of dedication to get to your first year?
Um, isn't the like it's definitely not easy. I think every agent can accomplish it. If I did, I have nothing special. Like I don't have. There's no, and every Tom Ferry, Cart Cardone, everyone says like there's no secret recipe in this business. Everything is out there. You can go to YouTube and watch Tom Ferry for Tire Day, then go to another YouTube channel. You can get all the training that you want. Everything is out there. Like there's no secret recipe. I think it comes back to how much you want it and how much time you invest in it, right? So if you work a 8 to 5 job, $20 an hour, that's what you're gonna get, right? If you put more hours, you're gonna get more money. If you work extra time, that means that you're gonna get double salary, double the wage, or 1.5 the wage. So I feel like being a business owner is the same thing. If my business is open from 8 to 5, then I'll make business. But if my business is open 24/7, I'll make more business. So that's the way I saw it. If I have the time off to do it, then why not? Because I mean, I don't want to, I'm married, I don't have kids. So I know somebody that has kids maybe has to invest more time in their kids, their family, but I still have time for my wife. I have to invest time in my wife. But if I can put in this business 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, if I can do it, why not? Because if I'm not doing that, I'm either going to a gym, having dinner with my wife, or sleeping, right? And that takes 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, plus 8 hours of sleep. That's 12 hours. I still have an extra 12 hours to invest in my business or in growing myself. Like I don't have to be showing houses all day. I can be reading, investing time in myself. So I think that's a big part of it. Like the time that you invest in this business, it will bring you business. The more time that you invest, the more business you have. Because I cannot, people say, oh, you're lucky that you close whatever amount of deals I closed this year. I'm not lucky. I was out there looking for business. I was talking to people. And if I was like a blank day, it's like, I don't have anybody to talk. My phone's not ringing. Okay, let me go invest some time in myself. Let me start reading a book. Let me go watch videos. Let me go to the Zoom and watch a training, all that stuff. Like it's a combination of stuff that I think that made me do the business that I did last year.
Yeah, and I like something you said there. You said, as a business owner, and there's two things that I've got on that. One, yeah, you did join a team, but you're still your own business, right? You still have to go out there. You still have to get your own business. You still have to run your real estate career as a business, and that's a big thing that I think people, especially first time agents, lack is they're not investing the time and they're not investing the effort into having this and treating this like a business, right? I mean, we get that real estate, that realtor title or whatever, and it's kind of like a lot of agents just kind of take the back seat and they're like, hey, I'll just get on social media, post some real estate agent, and business will come to me. And it's not that way, right? It's not. But I would say to any agents that are out there, if you're going to join a team, whatever team it may be, whatever brokerage it may be, just make sure that you are able to still run your own business because that's super important, right? I mean, as an agent, you want to make sure that you're constantly growing. Clearly, Rafael, you're investing a lot of time into training yourself, educating yourself, and educating yourself on the market and how to get better and better, which is definitely a huge thing, and we need to keep doing that. But you're also still able to do your business how you want to do it, right? And so if you're a new agent out there, just make sure that you can do that because eventually, Rafael, you'll grow and do your own thing and have your own team. And you don't want to be building someone else's brokerage or team or something off of them, right? We're doing it for ourselves. So obviously with the deals that you closed this year, would you say that you closed more buyers or more sellers?
Definitely more buyers. And I think every agent coming into his business will start with buyers. I feel like that's the normal, but definitely I did probably 15% of my business I think last year was sellers, and then everything else is just buyers. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, buyers, it's a tough market right now. Do you have any tips or tricks that you found along the way or that worked for you for, to get some of these buyers under contract?
I mean, other than obviously we were dealing with a lot of cash offers, but the price point that I was working was actually, I think, the hardest one. The 200,000, 300,000. I think that was the hardest one for everyone during this whole crazy market. I think it was just me comforting the clients because most of the times, most of the people will say, I'll wait. Like this market is not for me. I'll wait. And I was just like, no, like you shouldn't wait. Obviously, we were having lowest interest for a long time. So that's an advantage that I wanted my clients to see. And then I told them, look, that house is gonna appear. I can tell you right now that probably in this crazy market, I don't think any of my clients gave more than 10, I want to say 15,000 over asking price. And most of the houses were appreciating that value. So it was not, yes, I had like probably a client that it's like 2 months maybe to get them into a contract. but I was just on it, and I use every tool. And you make fun of me, you call me Rico Suave all the time, because I used to call every agent and just pretty much try to charm them and selling my client, selling myself, and selling my lender, or whichever lender I was working with that client. Like I was just, it's not, everything is just not money in this business. And I feel like obviously people were doing like cards, and that we can't do that, like letters of like family with 2 kids, all that stuff. None of my client did that. It was just me calling the listing agent and showing them that my client was a really good client. They had money, they were approved, all that good stuff, that it's not just money, you know. And I was telling like, look, it's not 15,000 in your pocket more for a seller. Yeah, it's great, but 15,000 more, but you're not going to close because this client is not actually pre-approved or pre-qualified or all that stuff. You know, they also see that. And I feel like in this crazy market, that has to do, I think I was successful because of that. Just actually a real estate agent, doing my work, not just texting, because I feel like everyone texts a listing agent. Even if in the MLS says text listing agent, I would just give them a call. And if they don't answer, then yeah, I'll text them. But I always call them. They're like, hey, I know you said text for information, but I wanted to talk to you. I want to present myself. My name is Rafael Fuentes. I'm from Real Broker. I have a team. I have a transaction coordinator. This client's been pre-approved. Here's the phone of my lender. Give them a call right now. He's going to answer that phone for you. He's actually expecting your call right now. So give him a call. He'll give you all the details about this client, all that good stuff. I think that was a really big factor of why I handle this crazy market really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like you're not only providing value to your clients, right, by doing the high level of service that you provide, but you're providing a high value to the opposite side of the transaction, showing them, hey, we're still going to do our transaction, right? My fiduciary responsibility is still to represent my client the best that I can, but look how stable we are, right? We've got all these things in place to make sure that it doesn't fall through. We've got all these different tools. This is my client, this is the lender. You're setting yourself up for the best opportunity that you possibly can. And that's really all we can do in this market, because it's just so crazy. It's moving so fast. And especially as a new agent coming into this kind of market, when I got into the industry, it wasn't like this, right? So this is something that I'm having to adapt to, but you're learning this, right? And a lot of other new agents this is just the norm, right? And so once we get kind of more equalized, it's going to be a little bit different, and maybe not as hard to get some of these buyers under contract. But those are some awesome tips, man. I think that that's a solid thing to do, and I think the other agent is probably pretty appreciative of that, because I know me personally, I've had buyers that have reached out to me, and I've spoken with that had an agent, but they felt like they weren't, making the calls, they weren't making the effort, they weren't giving a clear line of communication. They're texting, they're taking forever, things like that. So that's a huge plus, and that's awesome, man. What would you tell yourself a year ago that you know now that you didn't know when you first started? So anything that you've learned, or what would you tell yourself maybe to get yourself a little better of a jump start, or maybe close more deals?
Um, I don't know, man. I think when I got to real estate, I think I wasn't prepared. So I will just I will just get my license sooner, I guess. I would just go back and you're like, hey, look, just get your license sooner. Don't wait. Um, but no, definitely something that I learned the hard way, it was organization. I think it took me like probably like 3 or 4 months to start get organized with a CRM specifically. So um it's not that I jumped late to start using a CRM, but I think from day one, I should have organized myself a little bit better. So it took me probably like a month to catch up after I started just on the CRM, like putting my transactions, clients, mark plans, arranging the website, email signature. I will just do that like first, like right away. And I think this I learned from you actually. Whenever I joined Real, we have Chime. So, and I was not using it. I was paying $25 for it, and I was not using it. I just saw it like, hey, yeah, I got a cool website. That's the only tool I'm going to use. And they're going to register and that's it. I'm going to get the information. I'm going to give them a call. But no, CRM is so powerful and to track stuff right now. And for every new real estate agent, they're like, yeah, I have like 3 clients. I got them on my phone. I text them. So I have all the text there. I'm like, yeah, but once you get to like talking to at least 10 people, 10 different people a day, you can keep track of. And I don't have the sharpest memory. So I forget stuff really easy. I'm super bad with names. So I have to write names down, every little detail so I can remind myself. And the CRM is actually what I use a lot. So I will just go back and tell like, hey, stop being stupid, get a CRM and don't try to like remember everything. There's more important stuff to remember than phone numbers and text message and addresses, so just rely more on my CRM. That's something that I will definitely recommend to every new real estate agent. Like, get a CRM, or if you don't want to invest in a CRM, just get an Excel sheet and start writing everything, every little thing. And this is something that I learned from you and learned from Matt. Even birthdays, anniversaries, all that. If I'm having a conversation and she tells me like, hey, my daughter's birthday is tomorrow, I will write it down in the CRM. And I'll actually put a reminder to remind her every single year. Hey, hi, can you say happy birthday to your daughter? I'll send her a gift, send her a cake, send her something. So that was definitely something that I will go back and tell myself, like, look, you need to invest time in learning how to use a CRM and organizing a CRM. Because on the long run, that's the only thing that is going to help you go back to your past clients, which is a big thing on this business, referrals. And you're going to get the most referrals from your past clients. And you showed me that too. And I started receiving referrals after closing probably like 3 or 4. And I saw the power of referrals. So having a CRM to know, because people call me, hey, Rafael, Max refer me to you. And like, who the hell is Max? When I go back to check my text message, if you have a CRM, you saw you closed Max, I don't know, 8 months ago, a year ago. But if you have a CRM, as soon as they mention, hey, Max send me, I would just go to my CRM, type Max, and I will see every single detail of the transaction. So transaction, conversation, everything. So I think CRM is something that I will go back, tell myself, like, invest time.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. It's, you brought up a couple of good points there. I mean, talking about, the kids' birthdays and talking about their birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. This is, again, people and relationship business. So if we're not taking the time to acknowledge that, then, I mean, just in Houston, there's what, 40,000 plus people or plus real estate agents. So, I mean, and people are getting their license, especially during the pandemic, people are getting their license more and more and more. So we're seeing an increase of agents, which more power to everybody who wants to jump into this business. But if you're not taking the time to acknowledge them, people really just want to feel appreciated, right? They want to feel that you're listening and that you care. So by doing those little hints, it's super awesome. And I remember something you told me, and I don't remember exactly specific, but I believe you were going over for like a listing presentation, and I believe the neighbor, it was a buddy of yours or something like that, and the neighbor was even thinking about possibly selling, right? Or there was some sort of get together they had. And I remember you telling me, hey, what'd you bring over? You brought like a gift or something, right? What'd you bring? I could have sworn you brought something. It was like a food tray, charcuterie board, or something you brought over. I remember you telling me that. And I'm like, man, I never would have done that, and I'm like, and that just ensures, hey, even if I don't get the business, I'm building a relationship with you, right? I want to have a good relationship. That way, anytime, you ever think about possibly buying or selling or know someone, hey, this guy's awesome, right? I mean, and you don't have to give gifts to every single person you meet. That would break your bank. But by making even just a small gesture like that, that's a huge thing, especially in this industry, to stand out. So you mentioned the CRM, and CRM, my book, #1 tool that you need to be using. What other tools, were there any other tools in specific that you really thought helped you propel yourself to be successful?
I think in my personal case, no, I think Chime has everything. I know if you're using other CRMs, you have to like maybe build your website, or does have smart plans, or does have tax reminder, does have text message, or you can call. So I feel like for me, the CRM was everything. and I pretty much went to every training that Chime gave and Real from the CRM, and I actually became like an expert on the CRM. So I think Chime specifically has everything. So I think I didn't use any other tools other than social media. Um, most of my business was from social media, from Facebook groups, and people recommending me in social media. So definitely, social media is a big thing. I am not a master of social media at all. I just post stuff. I do boomerangs. I'm like an old person in Facebook. If you go to my Facebook, it is boring. I feel like myself, I think it's boring. Like I don't have anything big, or I don't make flashy videos. But just being present in social media and reaching out to people in social media and just being available in social media, because most people would rather tag me than send that friend my phone number. So I'm actually on top of it. Like I have my messenger on priority, because a lot of people, a lot of referrals I've gotten from past clients tagging me on their friends post. So I feel social media is something that has to be a priority. So in my phone numbers, like I have priority of answering, it will be my text message, calls, and then social media. If I have a somebody replying to a post, or somebody sending me a message through Messenger and social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, I make that a priority. So yeah, social media, I think, is the second biggest tool that I use in this business, and I got in business from social media. So
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, you answered the next question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, what your number one lead source is. And I know this obviously from speaking with you that, Facebook social media has been huge for you. And you mentioned, you don't have all these crazy videos, and you don't have, a ton of maybe even real estate posts, right? But you're in these groups where people are actively looking for help, right? You're in these groups, and you're making connections with people, not even just a, hey, here's a comment, here's my phone number. You're personally reaching out to them through Messenger and building a relationship with them and providing value to them. So that's huge, and that's something that we always talk about, is being intentional on social media, right? It's not just getting on there and watching videos. I mean, I'm a big sports guy, so I like to see all the ESPN stuff. I mean, and nothing to joke about mental health, but the Antonio Brown stuff, like I get caught up in all that, right? I get caught up in what's going on in the sports world. But if you again treat your business like a business, right? You don't necessarily have to do a business page these days. People want to see the business uh, more organically, right? So doing that through just your personal page even is great. But the fact that you are building relationships with people obviously has been huge for you, right?
yeah, definitely. Social media and it helped me a lot. I can say like probably 40%, 30% of my business came from social media, and just people tagging me on posts, and or just people reaching me out because they saw I was a real estate agent. I even past friends that I haven't talked in a long time, even outside of state, Florida, New York, Alabama, they were just reaching out because they saw I was a real estate agent and they had questions, and I invested the time in it. And I feel that as a new real estate agent, most teams or brokerage, I think they show you to pre-qualify a client the wrong way. And I think pre-qualifying a client will be not making yourself as a friend, but making a relationship with them. That's the first pre-qualification. I want them to feel comfortable with me. So I feel that that has helped me a lot. Like not just treating people as a number or a house or a client. Um, Everyone that reached me out, I would just, hey, I want to hop into a phone call. I want to talk to you, see what's up. See, I want to meet you first. And those people reaching out on social media, they felt that I was like their friend in a way, because I already knew them, and I used to stalk them before even talking to them. Like I would just go, somebody just postman me, hey, look, my friend's a real estate agent, and I would go to her Facebook page or his Facebook page and look to her picture, see like, oh, you have kids, you live in this area, it seems like you work on this, you're interested in like the Texans, Cowboys, or whatever team. And I used to bring it up in conversations like, hey, I saw you like the Cowboys, how they're doing this year. I'm a Cowboys fan myself, and started that conversation. And going back, that is something that I will tell real estate agents, like, Don't just call somebody and be like, hey, I saw you're looking to buy a house and how much money you have saved up. I've been told a lot that people reach out to agents and they just ask you if you have money for the down payment and closing. And if not, then just call me when you have the money. And call me when you have 20%, call me when you have 10% or whatever the amount is. And most of these people, they can actually buy a home. They don't need 10%, they don't need 5%. But since the first conversation was an agent asking them for money, they got scared. Hey, this guy's asking me if I have money, but he doesn't even know what I want. Maybe I want to rent. I don't want to buy a house. Or maybe I just have a single question and he's just asking me about money. So that is something that I will tell new real estate agents to first build a relationship with your client and then ask the hard questions. Because if they feel more comfortable with you, they will definitely buy with you this year, next year, or whatever, or even recommend you. Even if they can't qualify, they will recommend you, and that's how happened a lot. I probably talked to 100 person. Out of those 100 persons, maybe 20 qualify, and out of those 20, 10 qualify for next year, let's just say. But they refer me out a lot because they know I'm a good person. I invested time in them. So definitely that's something I would recommend. And I went sidetracked all the whole conversation, the whole question that you
No,
did.
no, it's perfect. You just explained something that's awesome, right? So I mean, we get in here, and I'm the operational type minded. So it's I'm trying to get in, and that's kind of similar to what I was taught too, is right. We want to get in, we want to help the client, and then we want to get on to the next one, right? We want to constantly keep trying to get as many deals, which, hey, that's awesome, right? It benefits us. But sometimes we lose what we're doing here, right? Sometimes we lose that we're really here to help people. And I've been told something in the past that, hey, the best client is the next client, right? Which I get that as far as our business goes, but if we're just trying to speed through things and we miss, what the clients actually need is, there's a very good chance they're not going to reuse us again. And there's a very good chance that you're probably not going to get a good review out of it, right? So obviously, when I go shop for, I don't know, a new restaurant in the area or something like that on an area I've never been to, my wife and I like to travel. We go to a new city. I punch in, Google Maps on what I'm looking for, and reviews is the first thing I look at, right? So if someone's on there and they're like, oh, they weren't doing what I wanted, they didn't cook the right food, the food was terrible, the service was bad, there may be a chance I might not go there, right? So same thing goes with us as our business. Even if it's not necessarily an exact review on a page, it could be a review from a past client, right? Or a sphere of influence, or somebody from a family or friend. So if you've really done well with building that rapport and having a solid referral system from your just circle of cheerleaders, right? They're referring you out because they know how you are and they know that you care, and you've got a passion for it. And I know new agents out there that are watching this. It took me a while to find a passion for it, right? Because I was just like, hey, I want to get in, make a bunch of money. And once you really find out your why and your passion, and you learn that if you learn that that you enjoy helping people, and if that's not you, maybe this industry may not be for you, but you gotta really want to help people. And I think that you've done a really solid job with that. And again, applause to you on that. So my next question I've got for you is, when you had just a nasty deal, right, or something nasty happen, where the deal was just about to blow up. I think this is going to be super beneficial for a new agent. How were you able to deal with it?
So I think I have an advantage of like the regular person, because obviously I was in the medical business, so I'm used to dealing with people with problems, like medical problems, pain. Pain is the worst thing, right? Like when you have a patient and they have pain, you as a doctor trying to tell them to calm down, that you're going to ease the pain. That is the hardest part of being a doctor, right? I'm going to get you cured. I'm going to bring health to you. I'm actually going to extract this tooth and everything's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt. Like me coming from this background, I think that helped me a lot. But just being calm and preparing my clients to worst case scenario, I think that helps a lot. Like whenever I send that 1 to 4 contract to a client, I obviously I'm not gonna I tell them that you got to read this, make sure you understand everything if you have any questions. But I actually go through every single line with them. I'm telling them, look, this can happen, and this happens, this will happen. This will be the repercussions of this happening. So whenever I submit a contract, I make sure that my client is prepared for best case scenario, worst case scenario, and what can happen throughout the deal. Same thing with the lenders that I use. One of my lenders, he's great doing that. Like, he'll explain everything, since obviously this business is a case by case basis. Nobody is the same. Nobody has the same job. It's not the same house. It's not the same situation. So I tell them, look, we're going to explain to you everything in the contract, because it's a standard contract, but stuff that can happen is not standard. Maybe your neighbor had a problem with the appraisal. That doesn't mean that you're going to have it, but we may have it. And if that happens, we have that third party financing, and this is going to cover this is it. So I actually invested the time in trying to explain my clients worst case scenario, base case scenario, so they will be more at ease if something happened. Obviously, everyone's freaks out. Everyone's get desperate. We get anxious. We don't know if it's going to close. It's not going to close. We still haven't received the clear close. We fight with the underwriters, all that stuff. But just being calm, that at least if the deal blows up, you did your due diligence. That will give every agent peace of mind. Because if you left something, let's just say, if it was your problem, you did something wrong, then yeah, you're going to feel bad because it was your fault. But if you cover all your bases as a real estate agent from A to C, then I feel like that will give you more peace of mind if something blows up. So being prepared, because I feel like nobody reads the 1 to 4. Yeah, we read it for our class, but nobody knows it by heart. I pretty much by now, I think I know most of the part. But if you do know what the contracts mean, what every little single thing means, and you train yourself, you invest time in knowledge, then you will be actually be able to deal with 99.9% of the problems in this business. Because I always tell my clients, and I think you've been more time in this business, I think you can clarify this for me, or assure me that this is true. But I feel like everything in this business has a solution. Not everything, but I'll say like 99.9% of this stuff, it can be solved or negotiated. So I always tell my client that, like, look, this contract is designed to solve pretty much 99.9% of the issues that we may have, that we may encounter. If it's appraisal, if it's repairs, if it's negotiating. I feel like just telling my clients, reassuring, like, look, 99.9% of the stuff, if I have a solution, and just be calm. If we find a problem, we'll find a solution. It may not be the best solution for you or for the seller, but most of the time it will be the best solution of the problem. So just reassuring them that everything in this business has a solution. Same thing with mortgage. And I'm investing more time to learn the mortgage side of it, so I can understand it more for personal knowledge. But I feel like same thing with mortgages. Like, whenever you're going to get a mortgage, the underwriter is going to throw a bunch of conditions. And I feel like most of the conditions, it can be solved. Like, there's nothing impossible, right? If you have everything planned accordingly, everything can be solved.
I mean, yeah, you got it right. Hit the nail on the head. I took a couple of things from what you said that I totally agree with. So you're setting expectations for them right off the bat, right? Yeah. Making sure that we're all on the same page. You've obviously devoted some time to educate yourself on, the actual transaction, the paperwork, even some of the lending side. And then you're using that to educate your clients, which is huge. So they understand the process better, because I feel like most people get really frustrated when they don't know what's going on, right? Everyone wants to know how their money is being spent, how they're, purchasing this home, things like that. When they don't know, I feel like that's where the frustration sets in. And then you're showing that you're preparing them for worst case scenario, best case scenario, a little in between, giving them some options, which is great. And then, maybe some pros and cons. And then you're showing them that you're working diligently for them, so that way, if something happens, they know 100% that you're doing everything you can to solve the problem. And what you said there is perfect. We are solution specialists, or we're problem solvers, right? So finding a solution when things hit the fan, having options to be able to get out of that and do the best that we can for our clients and give them the options to choose from. So, bravo on that. Perfect. So what are some pros besides making 6 figures, would you say was the best thing that happened to you making the decision to switch to real estate?
It's just being a business owner. I think has a lot of pros of you being able to control the time. So you get to, if you want to take a week off, and I always say, like, if there's no week off in real estate, you're always working. But we have our job is, it's easy to manage any, if we were anywhere in the world. Like if you have a partnership with someone, if you have a team, if you have a backup that can help you out, you can definitely invest more time in, like, go to vacations, time with your family. And that is something that financial and life freedom that I've gotten from real estate. I think that is something that why I'm going to stay in this business and not going back to dentistry, where I'll probably have a 9 to 6 job, Monday to Fridays. I have quotas to meet. And, if I want to take a week off and go see my family in Puerto Rico, I have to, like, act for vacations. They may not be able to give me vacations, and I have to pay a ticket that is going to be really expensive because I can only travel on Christmas. So having this, I don't want to say financial freedom, because we're always attached to money, but I do want to say that it's giving me more time to invest in my wife and my family and in myself. Definitely being able to set my schedule has some advantages, more pros and cons. I will say that it's not easy though. Being a business owner, you don't have nobody to blame but yourself. So that's the cons. That it's not a con, it's the actual hard part. Blaming yourself. Nobody takes blame, or nobody takes responsibility from their actions. And in this business, there's nobody else to blame. Like this, you cannot blame your broker. You cannot blame your brokerage. You cannot blame your team. It's you. So after you have that mindset, whenever you want to take vacations off, you go take vacations off. But you do know that if something happens in your business, it's your fault. So if I feel like pros, the more freedom that I have to set my schedule, to work as much as I can, to I think that's the best pro I can think about.
Man, I mean, clearly your work ethic is proven that you've got what it takes, and you're a hard worker, and your passion for helping people. So, man, I really, again, just want to congratulate you on your first year in this industry. You've been nothing but exceptional. I'm so glad to have you on my team, and I look forward to many more years of success. So thank you for your time. I know you're busy, guys, so thanks very much. And
Thank you,
I
man.
hope this helps any new agents out there that are maybe stuck in a rut or just getting started, or a mix of in between. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to either myself, Rafael, anyone else on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We're trying to get our growers up, our subscribers up. That way we can help out as many people as we can. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care. Get out there. Be passionate. Work your butt off, and it'll pay off. Thanks.
Take care, guys.